What's
going on?
everybody?
I heard everybody's getting all their money back.
Is that what it is? Full refunds for all? Is that what's happening?
Well, I heard there was backlash. You know the whole story. There was backlash, right?
There's a lot of backlash going on right now. I mean, yes, there's a lot. Instagram has full of videos, and YouTube has some videos up of fans leaving the campsite, being stuck at the campsite, saying Live Nation kind of just abandoned them. They fired or let everybody go, all the parking staff, all the security, and everybody.
We saw that
canceled.
We saw posts from people who worked there. They commented on our other Woke Plus video how they got screwed by Live Nation and we're working for them. So it's all connecting.
It's all connected. I mean, and once you let all those people go, it sort of just becomes a free fall, and then there's no direction, and nobody told anybody what to do or how to get out or what's going on. And so it just kind of, it almost became like a Fry Festival situation where you're kind of just, how do we get out of here? How do we survive? What's going on? So yeah, but I think in the aftermath of all of this, as it sort of starts to not really settle, but I guess more things come out and more people are talking about what went down. The festival itself is throwing its hat in the ring and trying to do, I don't know about if it's what's right, but trying to do what they think is right, I guess.
By Jeopardy. Fans. We're going to put it up. Well, let's look at Bonnaroo, what they said. They already caved to, we're going to give everybody their money back.
Let's bring up the little statement real quick. Oops, yeah. That's not what we wanted to bring up. Well, that's that we'll get to this. This is the
we will.
This is what's coming, but we'll talk about this first.
All right.
This is the statement that they sent out. They're still listening, actively discussing plans to improve the farm. They're not announcing the future dates because, Kevin, we talked about that the other day. This is usually when they start announcing next year's dates and such. So
for now, got to the week after. The next week, you need to be mentioning your next year.
Yep. And actually, like the Crawfish Festival person told us, as soon as that one ends, they're already planning next year. So these things, the rollover is tight, to say the least. So for now, they are updating the refund to 100% rather than the 75% offered, as you mentioned, full refunds. The ticket types, the 1 days, the 4 days, the camping. And then it kind of just goes on to state, everyone who works on the show loves Bonnaroo. Some of them have been there for since the early years till now.
Decades.
And the rest of the article is just sort of your typical, this is who we, all about this and that. So the second page,
TLDR,
smaller. It's a little bit smaller print once you get to the second page.
The large print giveth, the small print taketh away.
Yes. So here's some of the replies to or whatever, after a lot of reflection. Here's this person's 2 cents on this. They had weeks of notice about the weather, and a lot of people are complaining about this. Live Nation had a chance to come out before the show and say, look, the ground's very saturated. We've got a lot of rain. If it rains at all in the next few days while we're here, there's a good chance this is going to get canceled. They didn't say anything like that. They just let everybody calm, and then it rained, and we're like, oh, we had Arch Bowl. We didn't know it was going to be this bad.
I don't want to come to Live Nation's defense, but if you're planning this, you want to hope for the best. You want to say, it's going to be okay. We're going to make this happen. You have to believe in the festival. And I hope on some level, there's a kernel of that somewhere in there.
Yes, I agree. And this is mostly all, send in. This is a sort of a fan's response to everything that's going on. So I just feel like
they turned around, and we already teased it. They did a survey.
Yes.
So this is the question. What would you answer on the survey? I spoke with my daughter, and I have some, she told me some things she would say.
That's how she felt on things. So yes, this was the form they sent out. Once you click on the link off of their website or wherever you find it, some of the
we found little Polestar.
Yeah, some of the festival sites have started writing articles on it and putting the link in there too. But here's the questionnaire as it looks right now. Would you attend Bonnaroo if it happened in 26? Would you more likely to attend if it happened every other year? Is one of their options now. Would you attend if it was a few weeks later? Would you attend it if it was more late summer, early October? If Bonnaroo wasn't in the summer,
College
which is the
class.
challenges.
That's great. The last question is the best because they know their audience. It's college kids.
Right.
Classes start in August. I would say that the September, October thing is the perfect time for festivals. Festivals need to shoot for September through November now. Maybe.
Yeah.
As you go further up, it has to move further into maybe September, late October. Once you get up into the mid-Atlantic, maybe New York and stuff like that. And then the other window might be early March because it's always warm in early March all of a sudden in the mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, I think the way the weather cycle has changed so much over the last 20, 25 years, I mean, you can honestly say
summer
that.
is the new winter. You don't go out.
Yeah, and I feel like our summers have gotten extended out a little bit. Like you still get some Indian summer fall in there and snowstorms in September, occasionally October, pre-Halloweenish. But for the most part, you get really nice fallish summer weather through September and into October.
It's 75 degrees.
Yeah.
You don't want to be out in 110.
And it's not the summer heat. Yes, the sun's already started to change its location, so it's a little bit cooler and you get those crisper nights. And you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit. That was the one thing I always loved about when Fish did Festival 8 over Halloween in the desert. Like, yes, it was chilly at night, but you still had like a really warm day and like it worked. Like, it still works. So I'm a big fan of sort of those fallish sort of times for the festival. I don't know. I hate to see. I mean, we talked about it a little bit before coming on. That I'm impressed that at least they are hearing people and trying to get out in front of this and make things right by including the fan base and asking people and not just coming out and saying, "Here's what we're going to do."
Now you're defending
going to be, but I think there's definitely some issues that they need to address as far as how when things like this happen, how do we keep ruining you know what I mean? Like, how does something like this happens and everyone's like, oh, I can't believe that would happen. Like, why? Kind of like I know the guy referenced the Travis Scott Astroworld thing and the Netflix doc that's on about that. But it's like when you have these disasters at these things or this thing happen, I feel like
you have insurance.
All the training or everything that everyone's done though just goes right out the window and it's just like a free for all. And it's like, good luck, survive on your own. We're out of here. And
but you know what? If you go back to festivals in the old days, Wilmer's Park, it rained. We all just hung. Anybody who still had dry food in the morning fed everyone else. I don't feel like there's that community with something. The community.
Yeah, I feel like
there is a community with Bonnaroo, but I feel like it's very cliquish.
Well, I feel like community also seems to break down very quickly these days. Whereas before you could say when things broke down, you could look out for your brother and your sister and sort of like, okay, let's work this out together.
4 cans of beefaroni. Everybody gets some.
Right. Now I feel like it's a little more like, sorry, man, I got no room in this 4-seater car with 3 extra seats. You're on your own, pal. Like it kind of sucks.
I might need to stretch out later. I fart a lot. It's
And when the hosts are the ones though that are sort of being
abandoning the place, see, that's the thing. The word "abandoned" us really sticks out with this whole.
Yeah, the least helpful, and the least the people who are supposed to be stewarding you and helping you are the ones that are like, sorry, we're out. We let everybody go that would help you because we don't want to hear them bitching about not getting paid or working overtimes when we can't pay them. And
well, you don't want to pay anybody else.
Right.
God help you if you have to spend an extra $100,000 when you're making
only
$5 billion.
Yeah, you're only $1 billion company that should be looking out for people's best interests that support your company instead of abandoning them. But that's how we know Live Nation works. So and Ticketmaster and all that.
And that's the problem. I think that's a big part of the problem is that Live Nation has taken over this. I think it's completely changed the complexion of what Bonnaroo is, and I don't think that it will ever. Even non-jam band years, it will ever reach the heights that it did.
Yeah, and don't you think that's the real rub with all of that? We talk about how you need that corporate money sometimes, and you need that staple to come in and help you.
I would love some corporate money, but I want to be authentic.
Right. But that's the problem. And then you have to deal with their laws and their rules and what's going on with that. So it kind of comes at a cost that
it's about the It's about the stockholder.
Yeah. And the bottom line. And then it becomes.
And then you fall through the bottom line. And that's when it really sucks.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about the future of Bonnaroo and what happened this year at Bonnaroo and what the future holds for festivals? Because Kevin and I talk about it all the time. We're really on the downside of the curve of festivals and what's going to happen in the future as more and more of them kind of.
The good ones are going to be great. The good ones are going to be fantastic. The mediocre ones are going to drop off.
If you can hold them together, though, look at Bonnaroo's having issue. Coachella didn't even sell out.
Yeah, but Northlands and Mountain Jam with what someone considers second tier talent,
right? But
were both fantastic.
But that's not talking about big festivals. You're saying the big ones will hold on. The big ones are having the most trouble, like Coachella, Bonnaroo, Mount High Sierra. Those are the big ones that we're seeing.
Not necessarily the big ones, the ones that are well curated and know their audience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you do it in the right place, like the Catskills in early June, where it might have been 80 degrees, 90 maybe, but it wasn't 110. You were in the mountains in a valley on a ski slope.
And it was well curated. I think that's the biggest key too. Like, you know, your audience. You don't need to try to bring in all kinds of different crowds. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to try and bring in an EDM crowd and a jam band crowd and maybe a little rock crowd or a punk crowd, or, you know what, and bring them all together. It's like, I get that because you kind of, you bring in more music and more whatever. But if you just have
Bill Graham, you want to be Bill
I can
Graham
tell you,
put Miles with the Grateful Dead.
From what we've done with festivals lately, the most successful ones, or the ones that seem to keep going, are the ones that are really targeted to their crowd. Like, you know, the Acoustic Hookah Festival, and like these ones that, like, they know this is for our crowd, this is for our audience.
The Crawfish Fest. It's, you want to go eat crawfish, relive New Orleans in the middle of June in New Jersey.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know what you guys think about it. All this, the history, the future of festivals, the history of festivals, where we're going, where we've been, what's going on with Bonnaroo, all of that. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We got a lot of content.
We love you.